Now, there are people in this world who believe that physical ability is above all. What is a dynamic strength? Ability to exert muscular force continuously over the time. Talk about this physical ability. It is very, very important to see that whether people are able to perform or not able to perform. Organizations need to identify the key ability, whether it is physical or intellectual. Good morning and welcome to the second session in Unit 2, Organizational Behavior, where we're going to talk about the foundations of individual behavior, the second part of it, where now we are going to concentrate on the physical ability. In the previous session, we were talking about the intellectual ability. Now, we are going to talk about the physical ability. And this is a very big concept. Why? Because this is the capacity to do tasks that demand stamina, strength, and the desired characteristics altogether. How many of us would have really spent hours in the gym trying to look into the mirror, trying to build that every inch of the muscle? Why? Because gym is not just an area of fitness. It's not just an area of physical workout. It's all about the image factor altogether. Why? Because we all believe that at one point of time, it's a physical look, the stamina, the muscle that defines a personality. So the moment you look at a person who has a gigantic out personality, a body with good muscles and show, then you believe that yes, this guy is all powerful. This guy creates immediately an impression in the crowd. He stands out of the crowd altogether. So that's what exactly we are going to talk about. The physical ability that demands your stamina, strength, and the desire factors to do a particular situation or take care of a particular situation. It can identify individuals who are physically able to perform the essential functions of the job without risking injuries to others. Now, let us start with a very, very simple concept here. Right from the childhood, the one thing that we have been talking about in physical ability is lifting weights. Moment you get an opportunity to lift a bag, lift a water can, or lift something that is heavy in your home, it has always been a story of fancy idea. Why? Because that will immediately tell that you have some physical ability, you have some physical stamina. Now, there are people in this world who believe that physical ability is above all. It requires a lot of thinking, it requires a lot of thought process, saying that, you have that physical ability and stamina to carry it forward. And that's why you believe that that is enough for a function, that is enough for a job to be performed. So let's go with a simple example here. Let's say that I'm going to get into the job role of loading and unloading materials in a company, which requires nothing but a physical stamina to carry every day about 50 or 100 odd boxes and load it and unload it back from the truck. Now, in this role, please understand the intellectual capacity is almost nil. I'm not saying that there's no intellectual capacity at all. The intellectual capacity usage is very, very small. Why? Because you just have to understand that whether you're able to carry the load and do it. Now, if you're going to combine a little bit of intellectual capacity of trying out how can I do it earlier, how can I do it faster, what kind of loading, what kind of unloading, if I'm going to use the knowledge of physics, the knowledge of management and other factors, then that role changes altogether. In a physical ability, I am only going to talk about whether I have the stamina to complete the job. So if there have been 100 boxes given to me to load and unload, my task ends there. Moment I finish that 100 boxes, I'm done for the day. So that's exactly where physical ability says that it is only about the completion of the task and it is not about calculation of the task. The next thing is that the research on the requirements needed in hundreds of jobs have identified 9 physical abilities that involve in terms of doing it. Now, what are these? Dynamic strength, static strength, trunk, explosive, extent, flexibility, dynamic flexibility, body coordination, balance, and stamina. Now, all these themes are quite familiar to you with the range of Hollywood and Bollywood movies releasing in our country and across the globe, where we have seen the muscle explosion altogether. Now, all these movies, as well as in the reality, what we typically mean here is that the ability to show a person who is physically strong to do something that cannot be done by an ordinary person. For normal human beings who have not spent time on physical ability, rather they have acquired some other skills, what they believe is that these kind of jobs are not meant for me because this involves too much of energy, it's too much of risk, and the effort involved is also higher. But then physical ability has got its own benefits, has got its own merits that we are going to look about. So let's look into these factors altogether. Now we start with the dynamic strength altogether. What is a dynamic strength? Ability to exert muscular force continuously over the time. Now let's go with sports person. If you are a sports person, like a footballer, you want to be a boxer, you want to be a cricketer, you want to be a tennis player, imagine any sport other than chess for a moment. Let's try to get into any kind of physical activities which will involve the exertion of muscular strength over a period of time. Now what happens here is that you need to be dynamic while doing it. You cannot be a good footballer by just standing in a particular place in a field like a statue. You can't expect that the ball will come to you and then I will start putting it to the goal. You need to run around the field 24/7 because your job is to take that ball from the opponent side and put it to the goal. So which means to say that it is a dynamic exertion. You cannot afford to be remaining in one place and doing that particular work. So this is what we say the continuous exertion of muscles. The next one, trunk strength. Remember I talk about this trunk strength, exert muscular power using the trunk muscles, which means to say that the trunk muscles are your thighs. The loading, unloading capacity, the capacity to lift weights. Weightlifting is a sport that actually starts involving building up your trunk muscles. What do they typically do? They say that the power to lift any weight is all about balancing your trunk because that gives the stability. So if you understand stability, with stability comes the stamina and strength, then automatically you are able to get over this trunk strength altogether. But then for people who are involved in the loading, unloading, heavy weight kind of a job, this trunk strength is all about it. Followed by static strength. What is a static strength all about? So static means ability to exert force against external objects. So when you are standing against you, this is not something where you are also moving, but you are standing and moving it against you. So you're involving in pushing, you're involving in pulling, or you're involving in some kind of activities where you are in a constant and you have to push things away from you. So that's exactly a static muscle comes into picture. Explosive strength, ability to expand maximum energy in one series of explosive acts. Most of us would have watched Bollywood and Hollywood movies, one punch and then you blow a 30-centimeter wall away. And one more punch and you throw all the big SUVs flying in the air. That's exactly an explosive muscle altogether. But then we are not interested in Bollywood, but we are interested in some kind of similar action. Why? Because when I talk about this explosive, it's all about the maximum energy that one needs to exert altogether. It's one single blow. Now, when you talk about these kind of physical ability that requires a maximum effort, that means to say that the person has to put in seriously a huge amount of effort to come into that particular line. And this kind of explosive strength is normally seen in boxing, in kind of martial arts and other kind of activities. When you talk about weightlifting, when you talk about like powerlifting and all those kind of things where you see that it's a massive explosion kind of thing that goes together, and this requires a great amount of stamina. Now, extend flexibility, ability to move the trunk and back muscles as far as possible. This is a typical kind of thing. You need to have that flexibility where you take, if you have seen the farmers, a simple example, they are the extend flexibility because they have strength all over the body where they extend their trunk muscles as well as their physical body to carry the load, to do the harvesting, to do every kind of physical activities. Now that's where we exactly try to talk about the extend flexibility altogether. Now that extend flexibility is a mandatory skill. Why? Because whenever you talk about the flexibility, we talk about the limits of doing a work. The work cannot be done just like that. You cannot go back and say that, yes, I will do a work like this, it will happen. No, it's not that. It's about the flexibility, understanding the base capacity that you need for doing a particular job. And now, when we talk about the dynamic flexibility, ability to make rapid repeated flexing movements. Now, quite interesting word. Let's talk about this rapid repeated flexing movements. When you look into games like shuttle badminton or tennis, you would see that there's a rapid movement from the player from one end to the other end, stretching his muscles to the maximum level possible, which means to say that that kind of sport is all about agility. That kind of sport requires the attention, the focus, that every minute, every second you need to be on the toe. You cannot be just relaxed saying that the ball will come to me and then I will hit. No, you have to keep moving from one point to another. You have to stretch your muscles and you have to repeatedly do that action so that you're able to win the game. So that's where we bring in this dynamic flexibility. Now, let's talk about the body coordination altogether, simultaneous action for different parts of the body. Now, when you are doing a lift operator, when you're doing some kind of physical activities altogether, you need to have a body coordination where you will be able to coordinate and stimulate with different parts of the body. Why I say a body coordination here is that whenever we go and talk about people who are working in a manufacturing sector, you typically talk about this body coordination. Your hands, your body, your legs, your mind, everything has to coordinate. You cannot afford something that, my mind is somewhere, my body is somewhere, and I just press a button. No, that's not going to happen. You need to have the coordination of each and every muscle of your body that is completely engrossed in the work that you are doing. If that is not going to happen, then that action will get completely dissolved. So that is why we always say that the ability to coordinate simultaneous action from different parts, that's quite important. Why? Because you need to understand the simultaneous movements of your muscles are needed, and that's how it happens. Over a period of time, what is really interesting about this is that your body gets so well coordinated that even without your knowledge, you're able to do it because your body is accustomed to it. See, many of us are accustomed to ride car and scooters and bikes. Many times when we come from our home to the office, we follow a particular path. Our mind and body is so well coordinated that even if we are thinking or we are talking to someone, the car steering and the wheels and the balances are exactly the same. We use the same hand coordination and movement because we are accustomed to the same route, the same way, and the way methodology of driving it. So there we see that body coordination. And a simple example would be always driving here. Why? Because I always say that driving is a body coordination activity. Your hand, leg, vision, eyes, hearing, everything should be sound enough. You cannot just relax back on your seat and say that the car will move on an autopilot mode. No, you're not going to do that. You are going to have a simultaneous action movement where you are going to say, yes, I'm able to move the car with certain directions. Now, the balance, ability to maintain equilibrium irrespective of the pulling forces. Balance is very, very important. When you carry a load from one point to another, the most important thing is that how are you balancing the weight on your body? We are very enthusiastic and interested in lifting weights. That's what we are known for, because we believe that the moment you lift a weight above your waist level or when you come to your shoulder level, you feel that yes, you have done something miraculous. You try to become a Hercules. But that is not needed. What is needed is that can you carry forward the weight to a particular direction, to a particular distance altogether, which means you need to balance the weight of the object with your body weight and continue walking. So that's where we are going to talk about this word called as balance. Are you able to carry forward the balance, carry forward the weight despite the forces pulling you off? You know that gravity is a very big force that acts around us. In spite of gravity being there, in spite of the external forces guiding you across, are you able to carry the weight? That's exactly why balance matters a lot for us. Now, this balance is not only from the physical, but even from the mental side. But then we are very much worried about the physical factors as of right now. Next, we come to a very important word called as stamina. Now, this word stamina immediately makes me think about the advertisement of Boost, because it says stamina into 3 times, 3x stamina. These days, we never talk about stamina in a quantitative way. We only talk it in an exponential way. Moment you take a Boost, you take a Bovita, you take any of these energy drinks, the stamina just multiplies 3x, 6x, or even probably 10x times altogether. But in reality, let's first try to understand what is stamina all about. Ability to continue maximum effort requiring prolonged efforts over a period of time. And look at that word itself. Ability to continue maximum effort. The effort is actually a balanced view. Effort is not something that can be given in one shot. It comes over stages. When you talk about effort, it is something like this, which goes like a stage by stage. But then, if you are reaching this as your peak effort, you need to continue that peak effort over a period of time. Why? Because then only you have the stamina. So typically, if I'm going to talk about Usain Bolt, the runner, the athlete had the stamina to retain until he completed that 100 meters or 200 or 400 meters. What means to stay is that you are going to keep your body in a state, in a condition which will continue to be like that over a period of time. Now, this requires a lot of practice, lot of effort, and also a mental stability factor. So, stamina is something that is always going to be looked into those kind of jobs where you need to retain your performance for a period of time. Now, moving further, the advantages of the physical ability that we are going to talk about. It can identify individuals who are physically unable to perform essential functions of a job without risking themselves or others. Now, there are factors, see, because I will try to see here whenever we talk about this physical ability, it is very, very important to see that whether people are able to perform or not able to perform. Many of us actually desire in our life that we want to join the armed forces. We want to become an NSG commandos, or we want to become something like, the Supreme Task Force, the Special Forces, and all those kind of things which has been shown in the movie. But in the ground reality, the factor remains that do you have that stamina? Do you have the agility? Do you have that kind of strength to hold yourself and perform the duty? Because what has been shown in a movie is only about a flash of seconds or a couple of minutes that just makes your mind just get carried away. But in the ground reality, it is not that easy. It requires a lot of planning so that you don't risk yourself and you don't put others into risk. So physical ability is not just something that can be taken away so easily, saying that it's all about muscle. No, it's not just all about muscle. It's about managing your mind and muscle together. It's about a combination of so many physical attributes that can make you excel in a particular job, that can make you perform in a job better. So that's why it is needed. It can result in decreased costs related to the medical claims, insurance, and other factors, workers' compensation, and the decreased absenteeism. Now, what is very, very interesting about the physical ability is that it makes you get involved. The one period during my school days which I would like to share here is that I definitely used to like the period called as the games period or the PT period, what we used to call as the physical training. Why? Because that is one class where every student would like to put his maximum representation, whether he plays or not. So whenever we talk about this physical ability, it definitely reduces the absenteeism because of the physical workout that keeps you fit, that keeps you involved very much. So that's why I would say that helps you to decrease absenteeism. It's not very costly. It's not something that will make you again and again test, put you to a mental factors of thinking, reasoning, and other things. It's a quite straightforward thing. Once you are able to perform as per the task required, as per the situation required, then automatically you are in. So that's why I would say that this kind of physical ability matters a lot. Now, what are the disadvantages? Costly to administer. Definitely, yes, because again, you're going to build a gym, you're going to build a physical fitness center, you have to train, you have to make things people, you have to make them on a costly run altogether, and there's a lot of inputs that are required, food, and you need to have the necessary calories and so many factors. Requirements must be shown job related through the analysis. 90% of the jobs in the world do not require physical ability. That's what the study says. Why? Because Physical ability is only an external factor to you. If I'm working as an IT programmer in a company, I don't need to have muscles of 23 inches biceps blowing out of my shirt. All I need is a mind that can program what is being given to me. So there, I need to understand this factor that physical ability is only an external plus for me. It's an added advantage, but it's not a mandatory skill. So what I mean to say here is that when you do the job analysis and you find that physical ability can take a backseat, then it does not really matter. Intellectual ability comes to the front line altogether. So that's one of the biggest disadvantages. Not all the jobs will require physical ability. The next one is that age-based disparity. As you keep aging, your physical ability will start coming down. That you cannot expect the same stamina what you had at the age of 15 or 16 when compared to that of 45 or 50. Automatically, your stamina comes down with the age, and there are several problems related to the physical matter. So what happens in the long run is that the comparative standards cannot be matched at all. Now, the other thing, intellectual versus physical ability is individuals mastered on numerous tasks given. Organizations need to identify the key ability, whether it is physical or intellectual altogether, and the person who has both this factor may become the rising star. So at the end of the day, what is very, very important is a combination of physical and intellectual process together, which will make that employee the true star employee of the organization. What is very important here, which I would like to state, is that the abilities are abundant in nature, abundant in us. But we fail to understand and analyze it. We fail to focus on our ability. When you focus on it and when you contribute in the right direction to the organization, you become a valuable asset. You are able to see that that valuable asset makes you the rising star altogether for the organization. So that is why I would say that add value to the organization. Do not just try to be an employee, but try to add value to the organization. Now, the intellectual ability deals with that mental capacity and all those factors, whereas the physical ability is only about performing certain tasks. So, for example, a word processor is requiring the mind strength, and for example, a loading-unloading job would require a physical ability altogether. Now, this is where we are doing that differentiation altogether. It is to do with thinking. This is to do with stamina. The intellectual capacity is all about mind. Physical capacity is all about body. It is a measure of intelligence. It is a measure of performing physical activity. It is related to the skills of the mind. It is related to the capability of physical structure. So when you go through the slide, you will be able to understand the difference in terms of mind versus muscle. But then the combination of both is needed for any job to be done even more successfully. So that is why I say the combination matters a lot here. Now, the other thing which we are going to see, the complex jobs, any kind of complex job, it is the intellectual ability. Now, for example, if you want to do a less skilled job, you need to have physical ability. This is more about the cleverness and intelligence, the intellectual capacity. The physical capacity is about how strong you are in terms of completion of a job. Now, intellectual will talk about your verbal comprehension, inductive, deductive reasoning. In physical, we are going to talk about dynamic strength, static strength, and the trunk strength altogether. Now, with this, we also try to conclude on the factors saying that every individual requires the ability to achieve the goal. That is very, very important. You cannot say that, sir, I'm just working. You have to work to achieve the goal. Followed by the physical abilities, the ability to perform certain physical activities, whereas the intellectual will talk about your intelligence. It is all about generally talking about the ability factor. And when I talk about this, we can differentiate it altogether. With this, I come to the end of this particular session. I hope and believe that all the information that is being shared through this session will be of a great help and resource to you. In the upcoming sessions, we will try to understand more about the organization behavior. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.